This video is going to introduce you to the word frequency query. You can start a word frequency query by clicking on Explore and then Word Frequency. What this query will do is it will tell you how many times each individual word appears depending on where you've pointed the query at. So for example, if I clicked Run Query now, it would just count every single word in the entire project and tell me how many times it appears. This would be a little overwhelming, so I'm going to switch to Selected Items and move down to one of my search folders. Here you can see I have one ready for the female participants in this project, and I'm going to use this. Now if I run the query, it's going to tell me which are the most frequently used words by the female participants. This is a really good example of when cases are very important. If I did this on the interviews, it would include the words of the researchers and produce quite a skewed result. Because I'm running this on cases alone, however, this will be a lot more reliable. The options I have here let me limit the number of words it's going to display. So by default it will give me the 1,000 most frequent. Next down I have the option to select the minimum word length. In English, putting the minimum word length of 3 does excuse words like a and by and to, and these might not be particularly useful, so I'm going to leave it at this. It is, however, really important if your research involves Chinese characters that you switch this down to 1, otherwise it will dramatically affect your results. Finally, you can see there is a grouping option here. You know what this slider does, but essentially, if I move down to stems, it would group all stems of a particular word together and count them as 1. If I run this query, you'll see it's going to give me a full list here of each individual word, its length, and how many times it appears. Here we can see the most commonly used word by the female participants in both the interviews and the survey is people, followed by just, then like, then water, and so on. If we move down a step, we can see we can get the word cloud visualization. This will plot the 125 most common words here. Using the ribbon at the top, you can change the appearance of this until you are happy with how it looks. If there's any particular word that you want to remove from this list, for example, just, all you need to do is right click and add this to your stop words list. It asks you to confirm, you can click OK. You'll notice this doesn't disappear immediately. I would need to rerun this query again for that to take place. However, it's really important that you understand what the stop words list is. Any word in your stop words list is completely ignored by NVivo. As such, if I went to try and run a text search query now and search for the word just, the result would be 0. NVivo quite literally pretends it doesn't exist. You may need to edit and evolve your stop words list for different queries and as you're working through your project. To edit the stop words list, all you need to do is go to File and select Project Properties. Here you'll see there is an option for stop words, and you can go in here and add and remove words as necessary. You'll also notice you've got the option to switch language here, and this will of course bring in the stop words list for that particular language. It's really important that you set the text context language because this can really affect how some queries operate. These particular settings are saved at a project level, so will not affect every single project, just the one that you're working in at this time. These visualizations are often quite popular. You will notice you can right click and copy this. This enables you to paste this result into a memo. Alternatively, you can export this word cloud as an image file and then you can bring it into your report. If you want to look at any particular term in detail, all you need to do is double click. In this example, I'm going to double click on water. You'll see NVivo runs another query and will now show me every single time that this word has appeared and some of the context around it. This is essentially like a text search query. Hopefully you'll find the word frequency queries a really useful way for you to explore your data. For some projects it may be useful to start with this, for others it may be something you do towards the end. If you're letting your data lead you along, this can be quite a nice thing to do towards the end just to see if you've missed something. In this case, it may be that something jumps out, such as the word island, and you really need to go back and explore that to see if you've missed something. Hopefully you find this a useful query.